Sensing every space. Painting number 1. Space to begin. The brown and grey of the building reaches into the blue sky, touching shimmering white clouds. Sensing every space. Painting 2. Space to connect. The building is brushed up against the greenery of the bushes as the blue sky watches overhead. Sensing every space. Painting 3. Space between. The pure green lawn reaches to the woods beyond, touching, meeting with the lake in between. Sensing every space. Painting 4. Space to relax. Taking a step back, the patio leads down through beds of plants to the lawn. Green trees on the horizon take your eye to the sky. Sensing every space. Painting 5. Every shade of green, from barely yellow to almost black, is observed within the trees of the woods. Spaces to hide beckon behind every tree. Can you find me? Sensing every space. Painting 6. Space to seek. A light green emerges from the bottom of the circle, swirling and joining with other green hues. They blend in places, while separating in others. Above the curved lines and waves of green, a change starts emerging. Greys and purples give way to browns, topped off with a molten mix of orange shades. The light of the afternoon touches the green of the trees. Sensing every space. Painting 7. Space to journey. The sound of the fountain tinkles, sprinkles, then as you approach starts rushing, brushing against the surface of the lake. Glistening light leads the eye towards yet more woods with every hue of green. Sensing every space. Painting 8. Space to lose yourself. Beneath the trees dare you change your perspective. Look up, travelling slowly along the brown trunk to the canopy. There you find space to lose yourself among the many leaves before emerging to bathe in the sun's bright rays. Sensing every space. Painting 9. Space to reflect. The trees provide space to breathe, to reflect on the chaos of life, amongst creations who live as they are, never judging, never doubting, just living. The trees share about a dozen colours of green to observe, none of them better or worse than others. From this we can learn. Sensing every space. Painting 10. Space to observe. Observation is so much more than sight. The sound all around, the touch of the breeze, so many senses to receive. In just one place, 6 types of brown rest beneath 11 hues of green, slowly developing into blues and whites and greys of the sky as the weather moves endlessly onwards. Sensing every space. Painting 11. Space to slow down. lonely tree stump waits. Will you read its years of life, rings to be explored? Sensing every space, painting 12. Space to listen. When did you last stop, just stopping and listening, without expectation? The brown path journeys through the woods, tree colours differing left and right as birds sing and ducks quack and footsteps in the distance shuffle. Sensing every space, painting 13. Space to focus. On the bridge my wheelchair rumbles, my sight as little as it is below the parapet, my observation framed, focused by the bridge rails themselves. The view of the lake enhanced, not constrained. Reflections glint as the ducks wander, ponder whether we might feed them. They quack in request. I listen and watch. What catches my attention are the many blues as the sky meets the lake. Sensing every space, painting 14. Space to refresh. A hidden place of grass and fewer trees, a place of refreshment and contentment bathed in green. Sensing every space, painting 15. Space to explore. Exploring in my mind's eye the clouds that float across the sky, kissing each tree, or so it seems. Sensing every space, painting 16. Space to wander. I wonder, while I wander, amongst the trees, is there anything as green as these? White ripples to dark green, from yellow to black and everything in between. Sensing every space, painting 17. Space to wonder. I return again to the place where observation is constrained, and so my view is reframed. This time the blue of the sky is reflected in the lake, changing the hue of the blue. The hour is late, the view just great. Most people do not see as I see, perhaps the odd toddler observing, learning. Does anyone listen to their wondering? Those of you with eyes at height lose the sight I see. Sensing every space, painting 18. Space to grow. Occasionally we get to peek inside the life of a tree, the stump telling in rings aplenty of all the seasons this tree has lived, survived, thrived. With fingers I feel. Do you touch the stump? Do you feel the years of growth and hardship? Close your eyes and allow your fingers to feel the truth of the life of the tree. Sensing every space, painting 19. Space to create. As summer comes to an end, we find a single tree with every leaf lost. Stark it may seem, and yet beauty is shown through the branches as the brown touches the grey sky. Silhouettes I can see as the leaves have freed this tree. Sensing every space, painting 20. Space to be. As night approaches, darkness descends, the lightness of the lake now deep in its hues of blue. Even the greens and the browns of the trees lose their lustre as they prepare to sleep. Sensing every space, painting 21, the rose garden. The scent is rich and deep, I know amongst roses I sit. Reds and pinks nestle amongst the green leaves of the rose plant, whilst darker greens of the trees provide dappled shade. Sensing every space, painting 22, woodland tunnel. Do you see where darkness is there beyond me? What sight I have vanishes as the light is lost. I no longer see any of the greens and oranges or browns which my camera catches. Later, with magnification, I will observe, reflect, and celebrate the hues. But right now, I am fearful that darkness could hold anything. Please stay by my side and guide me. I trust you beyond my sight. Sensing every space, painting 23, tree stump fungi. Visiting the tree stump, there are changes. I am warned not to touch it. Fungi have overwhelmed it. Many shades of orange and brown have emerged in the damp of the autumn days, seeking their limited lifespan, food for the winter ahead. Sensing every space, painting 24, autumn trees. Replacing the myriad greens are now myriad browns, from dark yellow through brown to black. Each tree a different shade, and yet within each tree, each leaf slightly different. Has a painter painted each element for our own entertainment? Beyond my sight I can smell the change. Autumn has a scent all of its own. Is autumn really the end, or is it a welcoming to a time of rest before reawakening? Sensing every space, painting 25, red leaves. A fire burns within the colours, or more accurately, a risk of fire in this dry tinder. Swirls of orange, yellow and brown appear like flames, licking the branches, yet they lose their grip and float effortlessly to the ground. Sensing every space, painting 26, ancient tree. O ancient tree, with trunk too wide for me to get my arms around, what have you seen in your long, long life? Were you here before the building even? Do you remember a time before we would wonder and wonder at your ancient life? High above, where I can see white clouds touch your highest boughs. Sensing every space, painting 27, framed lake view. Back upon the bridge I rumble in my chair. I trundle to the place where life is framed, where the secret view for me is contained. The blue of the lake is transformed to white. Reflections of the clouds have painted the water. The greens have all fled, replaced with browns of every hue, a complete transformation, another beauty, a different beauty. Sensing every space, painting 28, yellow tree. A surprise awaits me round the bend. Is that yellow I can see? I have so few colours, but that tree does appear yellow to me. And yes, so I am told, colours from yellow-green to yellow-gold surround a dark, thin trunk. Sensing every space, painting 29, changing colours. What a place! Luck brought my camera to this space. As I observed through magnification so many different colours, layer upon layer upon layer, from brown and green at the bottom, through yellows, red and orange, to brown, amber, pinks and gold. Sensing every space, painting number 30, fiery leaves. Fiery leaves swirl in the wind. Red mixes with orange, brown, yellow and gold, a rich tapestry of autumn. Sensing every space, painting 31, space to follow. And so spring arrives. Early this year, it is just February, and yet the colours are starting to change. The sky is blue again as the green shoots are starting to emerge. Let our hope follow the hope of the spring shoots. Sensing every space, painting 32, space to notice. By the lake we stay, as others stay in celebration, joyfully absorbing the songs of the birds and ducks as they celebrate the joy of spring. Water is again blue, and around the edge the tree trunks seem somehow lighter, brighter, as light green shoots emerge. Sensing every space, painting 33, space to hear. Beneath this tree we stop, amazed by the sound of so many bird calls. How many different species are celebrating spring? How many can you hear? We stop and listen as evergreen leaves rustle in the wind. Sensing every space, painting 34, space to reach. Reaching into the blue sky, the building reaches way up high, painting with lengthening shadows in oranges, browns and greys. Sensing every space, painting 35, space to water. Suddenly we are reminded that spring is an ever-changing beast. Blue skies become darker and the clouds grow denser. The lake becomes grey and white again, surrounded by darker shades of green. Sensing every space, painting 36, space to spring. And then suddenly, as we wonder whether that is the last of the spring sun, I am blinded as a shaft of light breaks through the clouds and I turn away. You see, the darkness is blinding, but so is the brightness. There's a small window, a tiny window of light perfection, through which I admire the green. Sensing every space, painting 37, space to stop. Stop. What is that one black line ahead of me? What is that which I can almost see? Amidst the whitish blue I see a darker hue, a single tree in silhouette, a surprise I won't forget. Sensing every space, painting 38. Space to take flight. So far inland, and yet seagulls visit this lake, desperate for a place to rest. And then they take to flight, white against the dark of the woods, a sight to behold. Sensing every space, painting 39. Space to move. Back for the final time upon this bridge of mine. Today I record the sounds and natural animal chatter, yet with so many people around that is tricky. So I return instead to the lake to observe the framed view of the springtime blue. Sensing every space, painting 40. Space to expand. Around a corner there are so many young trees. They're without any leaves, so they silhouette against the white clouds, creating a monochrome pattern. Sensing every space, painting 41. Space to get lost. I could lose myself among the light of the sun through these new leaves, shining a light so green, a sight I can see and wish to stay watching for just one more moment. Sensing every space, painting 42. Space to question. Bright red shoots are such a surprise. They stand out before my eyes against the green of the more expected leaves. Sensing every space, painting 43. Space to gather. We gather again so we can travel into the darkness, guided by voice I must trust, while listening to every footstep, every whisper, every sense heightened. Sensing every space, painting 44. Space to stretch. The new shoots stretch like tired arms, reaching out into the sunlight. Lightest greens absorb energy, ready for the season of growth and new life ahead. Sensing every space, painting 45. Space to float. How tempting it is to enter the water and float with the ducks. Instead, I turn my eyes to a bird taking flight into the blue of the sky. I feel invited to travel with them into the sun. Sensing every space, painting 46. Space to dream. How spectacularly the trees grow, their shapes evolve daily, always changing. The wind moves the branches, bending into shadows. What do you see emerging? Amongst the many photos, I am inspired as by daydreams to create the idea of hidden animals. So I paint, in the green, birds in flight and an unexpected elephant. Sensing every space, painting 47. Space to reroute. On the lake's edge, brown roots are reaching. Are they searching for extra water or just rerouting, ready for anticipated growth? Sensing every space, painting 48. Space to sprout. More red shoots sprout amongst the brown. They will, in time, settle to a more mature colour, but for now they stand out bright against the blue, blue spring sky. They beckon, summon the birds for the creation of future generations. Sensing every space, painting 49, space to hear. The fountain is a life force, reoxygenating the lake, bringing life to places that would otherwise stagnate. Sensing every space, painting 50, space to be me. This is one of a very few wild places where wheels can roam freely, where we can connect naturally, where I can listen beyond what I can see, where I can be me. Sensing every space, closing remarks. This is Emma. I have recorded the audio descriptions for all 50 of the abstract paintings I created. I know that the descriptions are not literal, that they are much more poetic, but I hope that that helps you connect to what I sensed as I was journeying around South Hill Park in the many times I came and wheel walked. If you would like to know more about me and what I can see and how I sense these places, please come along to my artist talk or find me online at EMMUK74, and I would love to chat more to you about it. Sensing Every Space by Emma Major. Emma is a blind wheelchair user, minister, poet and artist. Sensing Every Space is a journey round South Hill Park in 50 abstract paintings. Emma invites you to see beyond the views and sense the spaces around South Hill Park, gaining an insight into how those of us with limited sight experience the world. Instead of being able to identify a space at a glance, you will need to stop and journey slower, spending time wondering, where were the paintings inspired? In what seasons were they painted? Do any of the paintings stand out to me? Why is that? How might this installation change how you journey around spaces and view places?